we'll go also to be quite interactive, and I really hope that you will be also the ones which you are choosing to be here, quite involved in asking for questions. So this being said, we will stick on the, let's say, not being very gender balanced, and not wanting to be rude, but we'll stick on the order in which the presentation were sent and in the order from the panel. So the first is Laurențiu Urluescu, you know him, he's the president of AFEER, he's always with us regarding the view from the off-taker and what is actually the market and how we're actually sitting currently. So Laurențiu, you have the first word.
Hello, hi. Then I'm sorry, but my presentation is in Romanian language. I will try to translate. Then
10 seconds. Can we put it also? No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Then a few words about the prices and the trends in energy market. As a beginning, I will say a few words about us, because you saw this workshop, it's under AFEER. What is AFEER? AFEER is Romanian Supplier and Trader Association. We are 43 power supplier and 16 gas supplier, which is covering around 85% of Romanian gas, respectively, power market. About energy market in Romania. Our biggest challenge in the market is market liquidity, and here you can see, the forward market liquidity. Here it's summarized, the Opcom and BRM forward markets. You can see the volumes, traded volume from 2021 till now. As you see, there are two vertical red lines. First one, it's GEO 119, which establish 98% taxation for trading. And as you can see, and this is rare, I don't think you see something like that in any other country in the world. Then we are speaking about a market above 1.5 tera, which suddenly go to zero and remain almost to zero till April this year, when the second vertical red line, it's GEO 32, who somehow relaxed its trading taxation from 98 to 90%, and it start some trades started to be done, however, not on previous volume. If you see average volume in the first part was around 4 tera, and now we are around 2 tera. What we can see on Romanian market, as you saw, the lack of liquidity. And lack of liquidity which is very important, we don't have a reference price. Then we don't know exactly what will be the price for next period. We also had a huge reduction of the competition. For example, only on spot, which any market participant from Romania, except consumer, are somehow closing position on spot market, on PZU. And the number of active participants on PZU decreased in 3 years with 65%. We have a big uncertainty about what will happen after 1st April. Okay, according with the actual regulation, after 1st April, we will have a free market. However, as you know, there are a lot of announcements, crazy announcement about prolongation, about a lot of things. And a few weeks ago, in 1 week, we had 3 announcements from one side to opposite. And we are still seeing there very low appetite for long-term contracts. The challenge of power market, we have the financial challenge. The main ones are the excessive taxation. the settlement of support scheme for consumer, which is very late, and it's uncertain because this is capped on acquisition price. First cap was 1,300 RON per megawatt hour. After that was reduced to 900. Now it's 700, and there are lack of financing. About delay of payment, we had experience with payment up to 11-month delay. Now, let's say the authority strategy changed. Then we don't have delay of payment. We have a delay of confirmation of the reports. Also, one other big challenge for us, for suppliers, but I think also for producer, it's the huge increase of cost with imbalances. If beginning of consumer support scheme, it was this cost was below 5%. Now we have cost up to 20% of portfolio. The old Romanian challenges, the legislative instability and unclear regulation. And we have something very, very funny because we have different interpretation for the same rule from the same authority. They simply change the interpretation. That's figures about spot. They had market prices in Romania, Greece, Germany, and Hungary. As you see, it was a quite constant spread between this part of Europe and the western part. And but this year the spread increased significantly. Mainly, it's is due to lack of capacity, interconnection capacity. What will be the future? I put some screen capture about settlement of CAL 25 deals. You can see the traded prices for CAL 25.
Just to interrupt a little bit, so CAL 25, because there might not be extreme trading, it's about the yearly product.
It's base load delivery, then from 0 to 24 hours each day of the year 2025. As you see in Germany, it's 90 euro. Now, in Hungary, 103, in Romania, 107 euro. I have just to say that this is settlement price, it's not traded price, because in Romania there are no trades. And some slides, it's not on the topic, but I know they are interested about consumer prices, household prices, and what will happen after 1st April. Then now, you know, on electricity, we have 3 cap prices, 0.68, 0.8, and 1.3 lei per kilowatt hour, depending of the level of consumption. What I want to mention is that the cap price of 0.68, it's completely non-sustainable because almost 0.62, it's only the others in the household electricity invoice, meaning distribution tariff, transport tariff, system service, green certificate, cogeneration, VAT, and now CFD contribution. The 0.8 lei per kilowatt hour, it's hardly sustainable. However, it's not impossible.
Laurențiu, just to explain a little bit on the CFD contribution, because Minister also mentioned it in the morning, and not to boom again on the media that, you know, is going to appear a new tax on the tariff, and just to make a little bit...
Why not? Why not?
Because
it's clear.
the minister is saying that is fully backed by the modernization fund, yeah, and the amount which will be in the bill should be the one in order to sustain the system to operate, but not to be used for subsidizing, because the money will come from the modernization fund. I think just, you know, as you are moderator in TV, I need to be,
Okay. Just to clarify, then this CFD contribution will start to be in your invoice at home soon. It's coming with the invoice for the delivery, for the consumption for October, then it will start beginning of November. It is 0.12 RON per megawatt hour. It's look like very, very small, and I have to mention that's not the settlement of the CFD scheme. It's only a value which is covering the cost of operating cost. However, it will be in your invoice.
Putting another tax.
However, it is a contribution which will be in your invoice. Doesn't matter if it's small or big. It will be in your invoice. Now it's small, but in the future it could increase.
Nobody knows. But we're starting from this again. We have the insurance that is 3 billion from the modernization fund on the model which used by also advisor minister should be covering enough the entire CFD schema. So let's start from this.
As I know, this 3 billion, it will be used for the settlement, for the difference between market and strike price, but this cannot be used for the operational cost, and this operational cost now it's covered by you.
0.12 per megawatt hour.
0.12 per megawatt hour. Okay, if you provoke me, because I didn't want to tell you that, but once this 3 billion from modernization fund will finish, if it will be needed to settle more for this scheme, the price difference will be added in this 0.12 RON per megawatt hour.
Correct. If. Okay.
Okay. What we need? What we need? First of all, we need that the authority keep their promises. Mainly now it's the settlement of support scheme, consumer support scheme, to have a correct approach toward the market participants. We need very hardly to have back liquidity and competition in energy market by cancel of the taxation and promoting a free market, and what we need forever to have a stable and very clear law.
Thank you, Laurențiu. Indeed, challenges. So this is, let's say, the voice of the off-taker. You know, the challenges, indeed, 0.68, we are all aware that is not sustainable anymore. Let's see, it's a big question mark starting April 1st. There is, I don't know, from infringement to different things happening across. Hopefully that it will be adding additional pressure to solve the things. There is some expected evolution in the upcoming period. We are all watching it. The idea is, again, and we're reaching also why it's important the price signal coming from CFD and why on the hedging, and you saw how much we are comparing with the rest of Europe in terms of exposed to the spot market, and it's going to be one of the key points of today's discussion. So, Aurel, now it's your turn. Just an overview on the market structure, and so a little bit more technical comparing to, let's say, the general commercial status which was described by Laurențiu. Please.
Hello. So my presentation is a mix of English and Romanian, but I'll try to stick in English. I tried here to show some instruments that, according to European Commission and the new market design, goes to decarbonization and to stable prices during years. Yeah, so PPAs, it's long-term contracts up to 15 years, and guarantees of origin are the proof that electricity is produced from renewable. My first slide take a picture of the Romanian electricity system. We can see that it's a balanced system from the point of sources, but from the point of production, it's a little bit unbalanced because the capacity factor of solar is very small. Eolian, it's coming with wind is blowing or not. Also hydro, now we can see in the prices the effect of lack of hydro. In addition with all this, I put it there, the prosumers. The impact of prosumers in Romania means that the peak that we know in the past, we have a peak between 8 and 19. Now it's a DAC curve, so the price is now less in the peak than in the evening, in off-peak. I started here to put some ideas regarding to the European Commission. The reform of the electricity market have to be, let's say, to accommodate long-term electricity market, meaning PPA and two-way contract for difference, the CFDs. We will implement in Romania also. Capacity mechanism, consumer protection, that it's a pillar in European Commission statement, and also affordable electricity price during crisis. These, let's say, four ideas are transported now in many directives, and we have now to transpose in Romania also a new directive, 1171, if I'm not mistaken, that will bring more, let's say, enforcement of PPAs and protection of the consumers. In the view of the European Commission, the main, let's say, contribution to decarbonization are the integration of short-term markets, so to be in a common market, electricity market in Europe, the PPAs, along with CFDs and the forward market, EU ETS, we know that will be a second phase soon. And now in the last period, flexibility, it's a huge, let's say, topic, because we saw so many times that the balancing market, it's eating all the profits to renewable and also to suppliers, as Laurențiu mentioned, and also active consumption. So the European Commission see the short-term markets that are stable and prove it their well-functioning in all the markets, along with the PPAs and the CFDs. Here I put it a line showing what means long-term, medium-term, short-term, what means long-term PPAs and CFDs, 3 to 15 years, medium terms, meaning forward markets, short terms, it's the day-ahead market, the market for tomorrow, and intraday, the market for next hour or 2, 3, 4 hours. And in the end, when we have the nice stairs, It's the balancing market that now it's the bow in the market. Here are some difference between PPAs, CFDs, and forward contracts. Unfortunately, are in Romanian, but okay. The main characteristics are from the counterpart point of view, where the PPAs is addressed to the big consumer and big consumer companies. The CFDs, the counterpart, it's government. And short-term forward markets are for big suppliers and traders. The risk of counterparty vary during these three categories from the consumer, from the seller to the buyer. Each of them has the characteristic and the plus and minus. Nobody will tell that the best is the PPA, the best is the forward market, the best is the CFD. I will not go through all the characteristics. There are in the slides. Maybe the slides will be provided. Here I try to explain a little bit how work a virtual PPA, a financial PPA, and the physical PPA. The physical PPA is going through the grid. The financial PPA, the virtual power PPA, it's going mostly through money, let's say. Here is a scheme down in the left side also, and also the risk of how the risk is going and the price with different structure of the PPAs. Here is a very important point of the PPAs, because the PPAs are not all the same. There is the PPA base load. It's a PPA pay as produced. What you produce, the buyer will buy and will take also the responsibility of the balancing. Here I try to show a little bit where is the risk, what are the characteristics. Mainly in the baseload PPA, the risk is on the producer, and in a pay as produced, the risk is in the buyer side. Also the balancing risk is on producer in the baseload and in pay as notify, and in the buyer side is the risk for the it's in the case of the pay as produced. Of course, all these are going in the price of the PPA. Also, some characteristic of the physical PPA and the financial PPAs. I will not go too much in details, but like a conclusions, the price of the PPA usually it's a base price plus some characteristic of the PPAs, as you saw, that are going directly in increasing the price, in decreasing the price. The modeling and the structure of the PPA is the main characteristic that influence the price of the PPA. And also the simulation of the future and the characteristic of the market, regulatory, environmental, legal, and different constraints are vary, and what we have to adjust are all these models and how we modulate the PPA. You can see on index price, European index price of the PPAs. This is from 2020 to up to now. You can see the high prices in the middle of the crisis, and now the prices are going back to normal prices, let's say. Here in the bottom you can see what the big statisticians tell. Essentially all the models are wrong, but some are useful. Other, let's say, instruments of the markets are the instruments that encourage the renewable production, because here we are in a renewable conference. So green certificates, guarantees of origins, and CO2 permission. Also, these are very important for supplier point of view. The green certificates are in the price of the end consumers and influence the invoice. If we have now a cap of the final invoice, also this is compensated by state. Guarantees of origin in Romania are not tradable, despite all Europe where guarantees of origin are tradable.
Yet, there is now a draft order where ANRE is set to engage in AEB by next year.
Yeah, we will maybe be observators to AEB sooner or later, and from that point we will take minimum 6 months to be observator, and after that hopefully we'll be members of AEB. Why is this important? It's important because the guarantees of origin through the European legislation are the instrument that prove that a megawatt hour is produced in a renewable capacity, and it's used for the consumer to prove that he is consuming a clean energy. These guarantees of origin are cancelled in the favor of the consumer. They are in a very, very safe mode and in unique mode. And the price, what is important, it's a market price that varies according to the demand. Okay, I will let my colleague
let's look for the interactive part.
Thanks.
Anyway, I know it might be, how to say it, for some of you boring details, but it's important for all of us to be aligned, because the discussion which will follow, and Tanja will have also some slides regarding the guarantees of origin, because it's this. How we link the PPA to the guarantee of origin, why do we need it? Also on the spike of those prices and what is linked with the imbalancing and everything, because we're trying to make sort of a, how to say it, a general view that at least should help us and make some decision, how to say it, fundamentals for next year. But Tanja, okay, please.
Thank you.
Maximum 10 minutes, because then we need to go through the Q&A.
Okay, in my presentation I will address the challenges and risks that exist for both parties, either for the traders and off-takers during the physical PPA operations, and I will focus on the today's trend of negative prices and how this impacts on the PPA structure, on the prices that off-takers managing to close with the producers. Just a few slides in the beginning for Janai, which I come from. This is electricity trading company from Slovenia. And why I'm mentioning this, because we are very active on the PPA field. We are off-taker in Southeast Europe, and we are one of the fastest growing companies in this field in Southeast Europe, and I will try to, let's say, present our experience.
And one of the very few traders which resisted in Romania until now and which is still here.
Yeah, and we are attending to increase our trading activities here as well. In terms of PPAs, what is our goal practically is to drive the green transformation through concluding power purchase agreements and offering to the producers different structures and price model, which are already mentioned by the Aurel. And I will not go in details about the structure of PPAs, but very general, what we are offering is physical PPAs. We are offering tenors up to 5 years, and the structure of the PPA can be base load, can be PS produced, can be PS nominated. Regarding the price models, we are offering from indexing price model to fixation of the price. To regards the services that we are offering, we want to offer all-in-one service, which means that our goal is to be one-stop shop for the producers, and we are off-taking the produced electricity, forecasting services, balancing services. We are doing asset management in case of negative prices, and we are purchasing geos because we think this is essential part and a very nice additional incentive for the producers and additional income for them. Now I will jump into more details about the challenges and risks that we have at both parties. The biggest one is the price cannibalization. When we are talking about price trends, I think that this is crucial to be mentioned because this impacts a lot the conclusion of the PPAs and the future practically of the PPAs. The price cannibalization will impact practically can impact the bankability of potential project and is a direct driver to the negative prices which are occurring very often lately on the energy markets. Additional risk that I notice here is the market risk, market spread risk. Why? Because usually the off-takers, when conclude some deal, the hedging of the price is done on more liquid markets, and in the region we don't have a lot of liquid markets. For example, for Southeast Europe, the most liquid market and relevant one is Hungarian, and in the same time the physical delivery goes in another country. So the spread that you already mentioned between Romania and other markets also I'm seeing that is a potential huge risk for the potential off-takers here in Romania. Regarding the risks that are linked with the balancing cost, here I will mention the forecasting. The forecasting should be very accurate. If it's not, then will impact directly to the increasement of the balancing cost. So this is very important. The grid limitations, since we have increased penetration of renewables practically, can often we see that curtailment can happen and production it's limited, and this directly impact to the expected P&L to the producers and making impact to the operational cost for the off-takers. And of course, the regulatory risk. This is huge question, not just for the PPAs, but in general in the energy sector. So the changes in the methodologies, the rules are directly impacting how and if the one PPA will be concluded. Since I outlined the main risks now, on this slide I want to focus on presenting the main challenges nowadays. I would say the cannibalization and the negative price are the biggest challenges today. And
sorry,
yes?
Because there is some technicality which you need to explain. So cannibalization is regarding the actual price that you're obtaining for your energy comparing to an average price on the...
Exactly. So
when... try to explain a little bit some of this technical part.
I will. What is the cannibalization? Cannibalization practically happens when we have increased production from renewable sources, usually which are wind farms and solar power plants, during the peak hours when the consumption is very low. So this pushes the prices...
Off-peak hours.
What?
Off-peak hours, during off-peak hours, because normally you have the shine during off-peak hours, and then this is why a high imbalance in between production and the demand.
Exactly. So high production, low demand practically, and this pushed the prices to be close to zero or even below the zero. And we can notice this very often. In the next slide, I will present the trend of negative prices on few markets. So practically, the cannibalization is directly connected with the negative price. If you have higher cannibalization effect, you will have even lower negative prices. On this slide, I try to present it, let's say, how the electricity prices are developing on Hungarian market, since this market is the most liquid for Southeast Europe. And we can notice that the trend of negative electricity prices has significantly increased, especially in 2023, and become even more frequent this year. But the cannibalization is not the unique reason why it's happening this. There is a lot other drivers who are pushing the prices to be even lower. And despite the cannibalization, which means higher renewable production, we can mention the flexibility of the energy system. So this impacts a lot. If the energy system don't have enough flexibility, that means in practice not enough to provide balancing services to the transmission system operator in order to have balance in that electricity system. This will practically impact on the negative price occurrence. And the third main reason why it's happening this is because the markets are connected. So due to well-connected markets and market coupling, some conditions which exist on some other market can impact on the electricity market here, for example. The next slide presents just the electricity day-ahead market prices for Croatia, but what is here important, that the trend is the same, but the frequency of the negative prices are different. Why is like that? Because Croatia have diversification in the renewable energy production, which means that the electricity is mainly produced from the wind production. And this helps practically to don't have very often negative prices, but they still have lack of flexibility in the energy system. So the conclusion from this example is that we need to intend to have diversification in the renewable portfolio in one country, in one market, because if you have just solar production, this will impact a lot to have very low prices. And the third slide is related to Bulgarian market. Here we can notice the same trend as Hungary. There is no specifically which should be mentioned here. On this slide, I want to, let's say, present the impact that these low prices have on both parties. The conclusion here can be that both parties, off-takers and producers, face financial problems when we are seeing so often negative prices on the electricity market, and both have operational, let's say, risks. But the main question is how we can solve these problems. Personally, I want to divide in two groups. The first group is to have ad hoc solutions, and these solutions are related to the flexible pricing mechanisms, which means that the producers should be flexible to accept maybe index price structure, or even to fix the price, but in the same time they need to be prepared to accept curtailment options, which means that during the negative prices in that hours to stop the production instead of producing. And when we are talking about the fixed price structure of some potential PPA, in that case, off-takers to be flexible and to pay for not produced electricity based on agreed fixed price, but for return they will, let's say, reduce the potential loss and will reduce the balancing costs. On long run, we have solutions as well, of course, but will take some time. The biggest solution here is to start implementing battery storage, because with that we will improve the flexibility of the system, and to start including the ancillaries, to including renewables into ancillary services. Janais is offering this kind of services to the producer, and we have very good story in Croatia. In the first time of the history of the balancing market, we managed to include the biggest wind farm in Croatia to be balance service provider. And I can conclude here that the negative prices and the trend of decreasing the electricity market prices is reality, which will proceed in the next year as well. But the future lies in batteries and empowering renewable producers as a balancing service providers to support the system. Thank you,
Tanja. So now the Tyron will take you. So we will be having like in 30 seconds, each one of you for the answers, which I will kindly ask you to help me with. One mention for the next, given the fact that we started with 15 minutes late, Vincenzo, Sebi, please apologize. We'll need at least 10 minutes to clarify a little bit, because one, let's take each of these several things which were mentioned, at least to give some, how to say it, 1-2 solutions. Liquidity, yeah? Everybody is speaking about liquidity and why Romania is not liquidity comparing to other market. What did we do wrong, and what is at least one recommendation from your side in order to increase liquidity? I don't know, squeeze it in 30 seconds because we need to cover many topics.
So, this is clear. The liquidity is bring in the market by the traders. Once you kill the traders, you will kill the liquidity. You saw in the Laurențiu slide, when the traders
are the ones that are increasing
2%
the prices.
Margin, I know traders should disappear from the Romanian government. It's a state, but traders bring liquidity, and also the producers, but not the producers that are kept.
There was two questions. One was what happened, and it's obvious what happened. I will set some number, 119, 27, and that happens. And what could be the solution? It's obvious. If taxation kill liquidity, then first of all you need to take out the tax, and after that somehow to promote and to show, let's say, the seriosity and to show, to sell trust in the market in order that the market participants, they are coming back, traders, producer, or whatever, any market participant, they are coming back in the market and has courage to sell or buy a long-term product and slowly to bring back liquidity. I have just something to mention. Tanja mentioned that the most liquid market in the region is Hungary. I remember a few years ago, the most liquid market in the region was Romania.
Yeah, exactly. I completely agree with Laurențiu that practically this taxation killed the market. And we remember that Romania was in every sense very specific market for the region, and we believe as a trader that taxation will not exist, at least in this form as it is now, in order to, let's say, increase the trading activities, but not just as a GNI. I believe that all the traders are expecting this.
Thank you for your answer. So, restore the normality, yeah? This should be somehow the normality. Yeah. Okay, we saw the prices, those curves in which somehow we are aligned. Okay, more or less there is some spread in between, but we're more aligned. So what, from the perspective of, I don't know, regulatory, and what should understand the government intervening, and I'm not referring to price capping supported by everybody, will put pressure on the price or not? Where is the price forming, and what is the action that actually, I don't know, can we influence in somehow this regional and the European price that we're having it? Again, 36.
So, it's very clear. Even European legislation, the Directive 944 and Regulament 943 are stated that the formation of the price have to be free. Not like in Romania, where it's the cap of the price of the producer. All producers, even in the directive, are saying that only the inframarginal are kept. But in Romania, all the producer was kept. Also, the invoices to the end consumer was kept. When you have kept in the end consumer's final invoice, nobody will go in the PPA, in a corporate PPA, because all the consumers will say, okay, when the price will increase, the state will compensate me. So here is the point. You have to leave the market free. We look to the Germany. Germany is the most liquidity market because it's a free formation of the price in the market.
Thank you.
Yeah, what the authority needs to understand that we need to choose free market or regulated market. Both is impossible. If you try a free market to regulate a part of the free market, it will not anymore be free. And also that if you have a component of one sector, like for example power market, which is competitive and it's high competition and it's high liquidity, it's better to don't touch. Better focus on the components where there are no competition, and if you solve and if you regulate the non-competitive part of the sector, you will have a perfect market. But unfortunately, there was the aim of the authorities to look on the competitive part and to try to regulate, and that happens.
That happens. Tanja, with you, I'm skipping to the next point because there are two, and in a few minutes we need to close. Balancing. How do you see Romania balancing market comparing to the regional market?
As other colleagues mentioned here, the balancing costs are so high, which I think directly increase the discount when we are talking about regarding the PPAs, if we are talking about them, so directly impacts the final price which the producers will receive from the off-takers. That's one point. The second point, if you don't have open market and liberal market, meaning to give the same rules and conditions to the balance service provider to open the market for not just for state-owned companies to be balance service provider, then you have huge problem. But if I'm not mistaken, please correct me here, the market is opened, so I think this is very good thing.
It's not competitive enough, but it's open.
So practically what needs to be done, exactly it's conclusion of my slide, that if we want to have better future regarding the renewables, we don't need just to construct them, but we need to start using them, meaning that to start using them as a balance service provider as well, in order to increase the competition on that market. If we increase the competition, then we will lowering the balancing costs because they are directly interconnected.
Thank you. Aurel, in a world with baseload product as Romania and the need of the flexibility and the things which are pointed on the screen, how do we navigate and how we do transform to allow us to benefit also from the, let's say, this modern world in which everybody is comparing to the baseload product which we still trade?
So usually the standard products are the most tradable in each market, but you have to have a lot of standard products, and of course, again, trader is the one that will put all together and will give structure to the market and also flexibility to the market. The balancing market are directly connected with the formation, the free formation of the price. If you don't have free formation of the price, you don't have liquidity, you will not have investment in the sector of production. No one will invest in the production when he knows that maybe he will not benefit from the price of the electricity.
The critical question, if it's going to be released all the intervention, all the cap, how much will increase the price next year, starting April?
You mean wholesale or retail? Because on retail, I don't think...
Let's try both.
Yeah, then for retail, for sure, the households with 0.68 RON per kilowatt hour, they will have a price increase. Upon our estimation, just to give some figures, for a 50 kilowatt hour consumption, the increase will be with around 24 RON. In case the increase is regulated, part of the invoice will not increase, meaning DSO, TSO tariff. For the rest of consumer, they are already for households with 1.3 cap, they are already offered below 1.3, then I don't expect increase there, or if it will be an increase, it will be a very small increase. For industrial, for non-households, already the offer in the market are below 1.3. Then I don't expect a huge increase there. On wholesale, we see already an increase of prices. If you compare with regional prices, in Romania it's higher than in region. The main reason is the illiquidity of the market, and I expect once these
How hedged are now the suppliers? How hedged are now comparing, I don't know, for next year? Is everybody waiting for this milestone of April?
I will say that they already start to buy for Q2. Unfortunately, at high prices because there's only one available. There was also some external hedges, which somehow it's reducing the risk of price volatility, but still it's room to buy.
Tanja, regarding number of traders, how do you see Romania comparing to its size of the market, comparing with other countries? Do we have sufficient, too many, too less?
At the moment.
At the moment, yes.
Zero. Yeah, you already mentioned that the active traders, which are at the moment, it's few of them just, and in the past the number was significantly different. I'm expecting that this number will improve after.
I will jump in the question, and I think it will be a good opportunity for our, because now the number of traders are so low. In the future, it will be a good opportunity for the authority to put a huge improvement, increase, a double or triple the number of trades.
One last question from my side, and then I'll let 2 or 3 from the public. If it's to make a percentage, because we are mixed wind and PV here, in terms of, and this is a question for developers, for investors, for everybody, on the profiling, cannibalization, the balancing and everything, what we should advise, like mid-term, 3 to 5 years, what should be the percentage per megawatt hour?
In terms of cannibalization?
Yes.
Depends on how much will be invested, because we see in the market a lot of projects, but very few materialized projects. But if we are taking in consideration the figures, 10,000, maybe we'll see very soon cannibalization in solar around 50-60%, and in wind around 30%. This is my guess.
If those 10 gigawatts are going to be actually implemented, okay.
Yeah, if I had a crystal ball, I will not be here. I will be in.
You'll be in somewhere on a yacht. I understand.
Yeah, but I don't know what. But what I will have to say, it's don't forget that Romanian market are coupled. And not only they had market coupling, but they are generally coupled. And this cannibalization, even if the number of renewables doesn't increase, then in worst case scenario doesn't increase too much, the cannibalization will come because of the regional impact.
If I may to mention the numbers for this year, on Hungarian market, the PV profile this year for some months was around 50%. So I'm expecting if we don't start implementing solutions such as batteries for improving this cannibalization effect, in the next few years we will see very bad numbers for the producers and off-takers as well, of course. But this situation is not the same when we are talking about the wind farms. The value of the wind produced electricity is usually between 90 and 110% of the base price.
Okay, thank you for your comments. Questions? I don't know. It's a very wide topic. I know I tried somehow, because I know all of you, when you are developing project, when during your model to sell or you are intending to buy, these are million-dollar questions. You have here top 3 among the, let's say, the market, which really have the experience and might address the things. I know it's unpredictable. I know it's still question marks, like the election, what will be after April, but nevertheless, I think we should have some faith in the investment, putting aside everything which was discussed before. Do you have any question? Too technical thing. I know, market and trading, it's somehow, but at least just to conclude like that, one mention. So in Germany, there are 70 plus traders, and they have if you saw the graph, that low. We have, I will not point toward that figure, but still, and so not the number of traders are actually the one that are impacting the market au contraire. So basically, we should have in mind that we should really increase the liquidity also by adding player. Vincenzo, Sebastian.
And I will say that each market participant has his own trading portfolio, because every supplier, every producer, in some time the supplier needs to sell some extra boat capacity. The producer needs to buy, in case, for example, of outage. Then each of us, we are a small trader. Then this taxation, it's impacting entire market. Thanks.
Good. Thank you, all three of you, for having us.
Thank you.
Let's now invite Vincenzo and Sebastian, the guys that should help us with the cannibalization, with the balancing, come with the solution.